Hello everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 4th episode of Dino Charge, Return of the Caveman. So this one starts out in the ancient past, with Coda as the caveman finding the blue energem inside the wall. But then just outside, some kid is being attacked by a poorly CG'd saber-toothed tiger. Apparently by his screams, his name is Taku. But now in the struggle and trying to protect the boy, Coda falls off a cliff, while still holding his blue energem, which starts to glow blue. And before we can see whatever happens next, he wakes up, it's a dream, but he's very much freaked out on edge. And then he hears another loud roaring sound, so he comes out to sea and Kendo's invented some dino cycles for our rangers. Apparently the loud noises scare him. He's still adapting to the modern world. Shelby says, yeah, that's okay. But then her phone goes off and he smashes that too. And of course she freaks out about it. But Chase, being the smartass that he is, says, hey, it's fine. He's just getting used to this. Right? You're fun to deal with, Chase. You're fun. Especially since he says he's going to teach Coda how to ride, starting with a bicycle. And a moment before that, we get to see Sledge dealing with another of his inmates. This one is one that can imprison people in cages. He looks like a prison guard, and his name is Slammer. You imprison a person that can imprison people. Wouldn't he be one that can help you? What were you doing with all of these people for 65 million years? I'm pretty sure no one cares about the bounties anymore. Interestingly enough, this one is actually voiced by the yellow Mystic Force Ranger. And even though Fury vouches for its ability, Poisandra taunts him saying that he couldn't find a single gem in 65 million years. And Sledge, being as aggressive as ever, just laser blasts a button to launch a ship down to the Earth. Who knows, maybe it wasn't Keeper's bomb that took out his ship. It could have just been Fury's been damaging himself, blasting his laser everywhere. I want to see how he shows up in an actual battle. That's going to be interesting to see eventually. And of course his girl is pestering him to quit that silly energem business so that they can have time together. Of course he wants none of that from the woman, so he had, I forget his name, I think it's Wedge, built her a little friend. We called him Curio. So it sounded like a little kid, but she went off to play with him. And of course Sledge is relieved to have him off her back for a while. Now back on Earth, while Coda is failing to stay on a bike, he takes a break at the park and sits on a bench with Chase, explaining more how there's still so much she's not used to in the modern world. And we see one where a vampire laughed on the TV, and his reaction was to break it, or to just walk into a glass door, not being able to tell it's there. Because earlier in the episode, Kendall said that all he's really accustomed to is being a ranger, and just a handful of things. Explains the slow way he speaks English. But Chase calms him down, saying that he does look good for the ladies, as a couple of girls are passing by. But then he gets scared back by some sprinklers going off. But before our fun can continue, Chase gets a cage hit on him by Slammer, and he's warped away. Now he tries to get Coda, but he kicks it away and starts fighting him unmorph. And apparently there's a shovel inside a wheelbarrow nearby. Pretty big shovel actually. So he tries fighting him off unmorph. And he's a pretty decent fighter himself when he's unmorphed too. But it's proving ineffectual. And then some kid just happens to be coming up on a bike, so he protects him from being hurt. Except they both get taken in the cage. And when he gets warped out, it turns out they are in some sort of dark cave. But inside Coda's cage is also the kid on the bike. Except the bike is bending open the bottom of the cage, and the kid's leg is broken. And they can't morph or use their dino comms, so they're gonna have to go outside and get help. And this kid, we find out his name is Peter. And Coda rubs some nearby sticks together to set one aflame and make a torch. And he asks Peter to hold it as he tears the shirt and wraps it around his leg with the other piece of wood. I guess that's a little makeshift bandage for the time being. And he makes his way towards the exit of the cave by using the wind, using his senses, being with nature. This did not go unnoticed back at the museum because Morgan tells the other two guys to go find them. and Coda promises to protect the boy like he did his little brother. So that's who that kid was before the opening. Of course, when Slammer comes back and sees that there's a jailbreak, he's none too happy. And then Chase just casually says, "Yeah, let me out and I can help you or show you something cool." And he's like, "You want to show something? Just show Sledge." You should have just sent the two up to Sledge right away. It would have been much faster and they would not have escaped. But you have to wonder, when Sledge and his crew first appeared, they were able to teleport down in a way. But all your monsters that are weak, they have to take some sort of ship down to go to and from. Then again, those monsters are just prisoners that he's holding there. So maybe they need a device to do it that he doesn't give them. Anyway, there's a split in the path in the cave, and Peter, from the way he's talking, is getting weaker, and Coda doesn't know which way to go, until a little boy hands out his smartphone and says, "The GPS might still work to help out." Now you know it's modern because all the kids have little smartphones these days. And then Shelby and Morgan inside their cave base find some sort of magnetic field, a strange one. So they think that's where they are and get the other Rangers to go there. Even she tags along. And by happy coincidence, the other Rangers are showing up just when Coda's running out the cave with the boy. And the caveman hands him off to Morgan. She takes him to her doctor. But it's not all that good because they get caught by Slammer. And now the real battle can begin. Once again, a wannabe prison guard tries to imprison in a cage. But this time, Coda grabs it from the bottom and just tosses it over and drags him down with it. And then the Rangers do the entire morph sequence. Except this time they do a red call saying out their Ranger names. Something that we didn't get in the last episode yet. Or the one before, surprisingly. And of course some of the foot soldiers come down, who I now know they're called Viveks. So they all begin fighting, and I believe, who was it? Riley? Yeah, Riley. He's in a fight against Slammer. He's saying that he's a lousy fighter. And since they have him, they decide to use the Dino cycles to quickly lay waste to them all. And Riley uses his power slash to do a big blow, and then Tyler uses his Dino Morpher Blaster Final Strike to just blow up Slammer. And of course Coda is fighting without weapons, saying that they don't mess with Caveman's strength. Now I didn't notice it last time, but that's a giant button that Sledge uses to make his monsters grow. And just like in the last time, they call upon the Tristego formation Dino Charge Megazord, and it's a pretty even battle, nothing special happening, until Riley's able to call for his Raptorzord, and it switches off the drill arm for its claw, pretty much taking away the Triceratops. And Riley gets teleported inside, but somehow Shelby is still in there despite her Zord not being a part of the Megazord anymore. But she can still command it and tells it to go get Riley. I mean, not Riley, Chase. So it digs through the mountain that they were inside. Strangely enough, Chase recognizes its sound, despite we've only seen the Triceratops for a moment so far in the previous episode. And Slammer being quickly overpowered, it's using its final flame strike, where pretty much the big claw just sets ablaze and it just slashes at him to destroy him. This is some good fun of dinosaurs, I have to say. And when all that's said and done, we go back to Peter, who's talking to his friends about what happened. And he said he's like a caveman. And behind them, the Rangers show up in Tyler's Jeep, watching him talk. And after his friends are pretty much like, "Yeah, cool story, bro," they just have to go. Coda comes up and he sees him and he hugs his hero, because he's a little kid. Apparently they got him a new bike. And it ends off with the kid offering the caveman to learn how to ride a bike, because he noticed that he wasn't very good at it earlier. Who knows how long he was in a park before then. Now this was a very good episode, and it had something that Megaforce and Super Megaforce lacked, and that was actual character episodes. Ones that actually grew and developed our characters, let us know more about them. Because between those two seasons, we only had that with pretty much Robo Knight. But here we're getting these things between all the Rangers. I mean, we know what Tyler's about and knows what he's like as a Ranger. We know what Shelby's all about, because we saw how she was just dragged into it, along with Riley. And now we have Coda's entire story, and he's probably going to develop more as he becomes more accustomed to this modern world. The person we still don't know a whole lot about is Chase, other than his personality, which is very fun to be around, or at least watch. And strangely enough, we didn't see a single appearance from Keeper this time. Who knows what he's thinking. So more than likely, it's going to be a Chase episode next time, because we like to do our character backstories early in the season, especially since we don't see his Zord yet. As for the content of the entire episode, they did a really good job as painting Coda as someone who really was from the past, and didn't speak the new language well. From his dream to the smashing of the loud noises that scared him, to avoiding the sprinklers, to being completely clueless to riding a bike, it was just done really well. I mean, I've got nothing to complain about here. It was all very enjoyable. And of course, that's 4 episodes in a row where they do an unmorphed battle without the actual ranger weapons. I wonder if this is something they did on purpose to see how many people notice, because I sure am noticing. But yeah, this is pretty much a Coda only episode of everyone else just being in the background, with Chase getting a little bit of time in the spotlight. So I definitely recommend this. So I definitely say go and watch it. Anyway, that's all for this time. I'm Jargus here, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for episode 5. Until then, may the power protect you.